We've introduced a variety of cuts. That doesn't mean that they now belong to you just because you've looked at them. You've got to train yourself. You've got to develop an efficiency and an ease with these different options, right? Just like we drilled our footwork, and you've got to spend the time on that. That's your delivery system. Here is what you're about to deliver. This is the mail. All right? You've got to be able to recognize the opportunity. You've got to be able to flow into it, because your partner's not just going to stand there and say, please hit me. Right? You've got to create the opportunity, and then you've got to be able to execute your plan. I recommend building yourself something to train with. This is called a pell, or a training. It started, initially these things were just poles. You could use a pole, you could use a telephone pole if you had one. You have to be very careful though, because this is an investment. Cold steel makes a beautiful saber. That doesn't mean you want to go out there and trash it by banging against a tree or against a telephone pole. If you're going to use something like that, don't whack full power at it, okay? You're looking to develop finesse. Anybody can load up and hit hard, but if that's what you're going to do, you may as well have a baseball bat, right? This is a tool, all right? You want to take care of your tools. I recommend you build yourself something like this. This has a 4x4, central pillar, and then we've taken and we've put tires here that we've cut in half and mounted. This gives you a series of angles. It also gives you something to help protect your sword. But let's talk a little bit about training. We're training to imprint muscle memory, all right? That doesn't mean that you want to be loading up and going full power all the time. You're really not going to learn much there, right? What you want to be looking on is the specifics of things. How's my hand position? Am I staying in center line? Am I being efficient with my cut? Am I getting too big? That's always going to be your biggest problem. Slow down, all right? You can get faster later on, but I tell you, and I'll tell you over and over again, speed comes from doing less, not from working harder. All right? Build yourself something like this, and then make yourself up a drill. Start with, okay, here's my distance. I'm going to move not from long range. I'm going to move to where I can stand here in my guard position, extend, and put the end hand span on the blade. This is your greatest working tool. Again, your advantage of the saber is distance. Don't give it up easily. All right? You really don't want somebody in close enough to put their hands on you. And if your enemy is in range, so are you. Keep him away from you. This tool is ideally suited for that. So we're going to work here on this hand span. And I'm going to look here and I'm going to turn. Now remember, the blade follows the hand. Angle your hand. The blade will follow. When I want to do a vertical cut, I'm right here. When I want to do a diagonal cut, I just turn my hand and squeeze. When I want to do a horizontal cut, I turn my hand palms up. Spanish have a wonderful way of putting this that's very specific. This is called uñas arriba. It means nails. Nails up, uñas adentro, which is neutral, straight up and down. Uñas abajo, which is nails down. And uñas afuera, which is twisted. And you'll see the application for this later on when we introduce the concept of guarding with the sword, where I am attacking and defending at the same time. Be specific with your hand position. For right now, I want to go straight vertical. So I'm going to extend and squeeze. I'm going to extend and squeeze. Here's the snap cut. Here, here. I don't want to come up. I don't want to break my wrist, okay? We're going to introduce a concept called skeletal alignment in just a moment. You want to be sure that this is part of your whole body. My entire body is the weapon, all right? Anytime I bend my arm here, this is the quick strip disarm. Those of you who do martial arts will know this very, very well. Anytime I can put all the pressure into one small area, the sword's mine. I can take that away from you like that, okay? Don't be constantly throwing away your control of the weapon. That's why you want to be here, this nice pivoting grip, squeeze it into your hand. If I extend and reach you here, that snap is going to do a lot of damage. This is sharp, okay? Extend and squeeze. There's my snap. Or I can extend, squeeze, and push a little bit, all right? From here, turn to the diagonal. Extend and snap, extend, squeeze, and push, okay? Over here on the backhand, extend and squeeze for the snap, extend, squeeze, and push. Still notice that I'm keeping my hand here. I'm not pushing and lifting and coming way up there. All right? Now, let's back up just a little bit here, and let's start to work the distance of the wrist and elbow cut. So I'm here. Here's my vertical, coming down. Coming down. Notice I'm not hitting very hard, and I'm not going very fast. Save the real thing for the real thing. Every once in a while, you can go quarter power, half power, maybe 3/4 power, but then back off. The more energy you're using, the less aware, the less sensitive, and the wilder you're going to get. Slow it down. Imprint good habits. So again, we have our vertical, we have our diagonal, working from the elbow here. Notice how I'm always coming back here. And this hand pressure, okay, it releases, I make my cut, I pass through here, I'm hitting here, passing through the body. Once I have come even with the outside of my body, I'd better be rolling back over to control center line. Do not do this, okay? All you've done is offered your opponent your entire body, all right? So here is the diagonal. Now the horizontal, here, returning back to center. Palm up. You'll notice everything cutting to the inside or the chest is palm up, all right? Whether it be vertical, diagonal, horizontal, or upward here, and I'm going to return. Everything cutting to the back, the outside, or the backhand, or the reverse cut is a variation of palm down. Here's my diagonal, here's my horizontal, here's my upward diagonal. Notice I am working the hand span, I am working from the elbow, wrist, and fingers, and I am staying close in proportion, keeping it small. Work your pell, slow down, be specific. Practice.